Guess who got brands talking? Brandlife.co.za.
Welcome to Shapeshifter. Thank you for joining us. My name is Natasha van der Berg. I'm with the South African Council for the Project and Construction Management Professions. Today I have with me Canon Noyana and Jeff Pike. We are going to be discussing the importance of mentorship within the context of development and growth in South Africa and the construction industry. Now, Canon is the director of Noyana Management Consultancy. He's a accredited practicing mentor. He's been working in the industry for a number of years, more than 4 decades of work in the civil engineering and building construction environment. He's worked on things like the emerging contractor development model with the CSIR and the Alexander Renewal Project. He's mentored hundreds of contractors. Jeff is the managing director of Archway Projects. He's also been in the industry for a number of years and worked with the city of Johannesburg on projects such as the World Cup soccer event. As well as being an SACPCMP assessor, Jeff is also on the Council's Committee for Construction Mentorship. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. I'm really looking forward to our discussion today, and I'd like to kick it off by saying, let's start with the state of construction mentorship in the country. What are we looking at? Do we have a problem? Canon?
Yes, we do have a problem currently because the demand is there and it's grown because the numbers of contractors who are not empowered or who don't have management and administrative skills is still on the high. They are technical skills or competencies, but they lack in managerial skills, which mentorship specifically address. Unfortunately, there hasn't been a structured way that they access mentorship. Up to now, mentorship has been provided via programs that government departments would put together and have the mentee and the mentor meet. But we need to have it as a service available to all and sundry who feel that they need to develop into a competent enterprise or contracting company. That's where we are at. We need we need a lot more experienced people to come forward and assist in meeting that demand.
Now, Jeff, in an article you wrote recently, you made a very strong statement. You said the bottom line is that our industry needs to factor SMME inexperience into its methodology if meaningful development is going to occur. And then you went on to say, without very clear, tangible interventions, we stand in danger of being buried beneath our own good intentions. Can you take us through these statements, please?
Absolutely, and I'm a very strong believer in what I've said there, and I think there's a lot happening out there that demonstrates the correctness of those statements. As project managers and construction managers would know, there are 6 stages in a project life cycle. And what normally happens is mentorship is only considered in stage 5, which is your construction, where I believe that if you want to be effectively rolling out SMME mentorship, it should be involved with the early stages of the project life cycle, very much like the building regulations that were changed in 2014, where they insisted that the safety consultants got involved with the early stages of the project and not just in stage 5. And that's made a huge difference. I'm proposing that the same be done for SMME mentorship, such that when we go into stage 2, which is feasibility, we're already talking about the SMME mentorship and what we need to do to the project in order to accommodate it. When we go into stage 3 and stage 4, where we do the design development and the contract and procurement documentation, that is also all set up for SMME development, because, you know, it doesn't make sense for me for the client to roll out a project for, let's say, a CRDB level 9 contractor, knowing that a certain section of that work is also going to be given out to SMMEs. And it really is a big picture approach to ensure that your designs, your contract documents, and everything else are specifically set up to facilitate and assist and accommodate with SMME mentorship.
So whose responsibility is it to see that mentorship is driven within construction and projects? Does this fall with management? Does it fall with procurement? Who drives this on the ground?
It's ultimately going to be the he who controls the money makes the rules. We know that. So it starts with whoever's the client is. That's the person that's has to say, I want this project. We're going to do SMME mentorship, and we're going to do it properly this time.
Okay. Cannon, would you like to add to that?
Yes. We have to look, as the industry, we have to look at human resource development, which is a neglected exercise, especially around management and supervisory skills. So we are saying, yes, it's the client who has to budget for this and want this done, such that even the design consultants are regulated in terms of meeting what the client needs and wants. I believe once clients insist that they want this product of a developed SMME contractor, then we will be getting everybody putting their shoulder to the wheel as far as developing these SMME contractors.
Gentlemen, all right, so now we've looked at the industry and the need for mentorship. So let's turn to solving that need. What can be done? How do we get there? Where do we start?
Yeah.
Well, we've said the client, so how do we get to the client? How do we make them aware of this need?
First of all, SACPCMP has done a fantastic job in just coming up with means and ways of registering and regulating the practice, the construction mentorship practice. What we probably have had up to now, just people not sure about the availability of assignments or of projects and mentees to mentor. Some have been registered for close to 10 years and haven't had even one assignment. So that has cast some doubts in terms of this being a workable solution. But definitely that's a big step that SACPCMP has started. And it requires us to support it, whether we registered or we want to be registered. We need to support this because it's sensitive to just let any technical person take on a mentorship assignment. There are things or special behavioral patterns that are required for such a person to be successful in terms of coaching and mentoring his mentee.
I can imagine. Jeff, yes, please.
Yeah, if I can add to what Ken said, and I think Ken and I both have witnessed this in the industry where we hear about projects that are being, there are mentors involved that are not registered with SACPCMP and frankly are just filling a position rather than actually doing what they need to do. Like you would, for example, not get an accountant to sign off a bridge, the design of a bridge. The accountant might be very qualified in his industry, but it doesn't make him a structural designer. Very much like you because someone may have a PRN or some other qualification doesn't make them a good mentor, and that's what Cannon is saying is it really is, they've got to be selecting the people to doing mentoring, having the right skills in order to carry it out, because mentorship is a very broad range of understanding of the construction industry. And if you're a designer and you've had a little bit of project management experience, it doesn't mean you're going to, in fact, it's unlikely that you've been exposed, had enough exposure in order to be able to make that difference. A guy like Cannon, for example, who's been in the industry for 20, 30 years just doing this, he understands the pillars of construction management. And when he mentors around those pillars of construction management. And that's what makes a mentor, somebody that's been there, done it, and is now able to show the next person.
And I would imagine that you would need a certain type of personality to do that as well. And you're working with somebody, you're guiding them in terms of where they need. I would think that a mature professional.
Yeah. Yes, that is true. Hence, the SACPCMP, in terms of the registration requirements, has recommended, advisably so, psychometric evaluation of the person who will be registered. It's because of the diversity of the people he'll be dealing with. At times, lots of patience is required.
Of course.
And also not getting tired of explaining himself about the same thing, because the bottom line is people need to be competent immediately such that they can apply the skills. There's no longer the time that they've taught them, they studied, they are ready for exams. We don't have. Our situation is he learns now, he's supposed to implement now. So that's the responsibility construction mentor carries.
All right, so let's say I'm in the industry, I've worked in the industry for a number of years, I have a lot of experience, I'm patient. Why would I want to be a mentor? Why can I not just, after I retire or have had 40 years of experience in the industry, sit back and relax? What is the benefit in the industry?
If I could please add comments on that. It's also one of my areas where I feel that we as South Africans can all sit on the sideline and point at what's not going well in the country. And this is a chance for those very individuals that have got those 30, 40 years of experience to actually make a difference. So why would you want to do it? And my answer to that is, well, first of all, it's going to be a very nice little career to have, firstly, because it's very rewarding. And second of all, you'll be making a big difference. So that's absolutely positive reason why you would want to do that. And it's much needed. And I go around these construction companies and I meet a lot of guys that would make fantastic mentors. And I really wish they would realize the difference they could make and basically come on board, because we need them.
Cannon.
Well, I would also say people are expected to self-actualize. And nothing wrong with that. But we have a situation that we're killing our very industry. Every industry has got a future, so we are responsible for the future, which we could assist to put there through passing on or passing the baton on to guys who are still young and up and coming in this industry.
Absolutely. I think if you have the experience and you have the understanding, and you have an opportunity to give back to a country that has grown you, why not go through and give back? What does it take to be a mentor? I know that through the SACPCMP, one can become a professional mentor. What are the steps? What are the requirements for this, Jeff?
First thing I would say, if you're interested in becoming a mentor, go onto the website and download what SACPCMP require of you. And that's very well detailed. So, but to sum it up, really, is we're looking for people that have had a good 10 years plus in construction experience. So you have to have that experience. You cannot have 1 or 2 years of experience and expect to have all the answers. And whilst you don't need to have all the answers as a mentor, at least have that exposure. So one of the requirements is sufficient experience. And then, as Cannon says, you also got to have that willingness to do it. You've got to definitely have patience, as Cannon said, and you've also got to have perseverance. So there's a lot of those, but and it's not as easy as it may sound, but once you're involved with it, it's exceptionally rewarding, because you can actually see the difference you're making, and you can actually see the giving back that you're giving. So it is a process to become one, but once you're there, it's a reward worth going for.
Cannon, would you like to add to that?
All we could say, us who are practicing or have been practicing as mentors, is that, as Jeff said, it is rewarding, but one should also look at what are we doing? the contribution we make into the country to add to the management skills that are death in our society as we speak now. We also are plugging into a missing link with the CIDB registration, where currently contractors are graded based on the work they've just completed. There needs to be a recognition of the skills within the owners or the firms that are registered. It's the next phase of the CIDB registration. We are, as I say, key to making that possible, because right now, in the near future, it won't be just what projects have you done. There will be a measure, or you need to say who is in your company qualified in what. And obviously the owners or the contractor, him or herself, needs to show that they've gathered some skills and competencies to manage or coordinate a lot of people's activities.
It sounds like this is a very big clock, and there are a lot of cogs and wheels in this clock, and they all need to start working together so that this clock can get moving effectively. Gentlemen, this is a fascinating subject, and it's very exciting to see that something is being done on this and attention is being paid, and we are pushing this through, because I think it's required, it's needed, it's overdue. Any closing thoughts on the subject or comments that you'd like to make?
My closing thought, and I'm sorry to jump in front of Canon each time, but I am ready, need to just point out that currently there's a lot of issues we have in this country with SMMEs, where there's a lot of projects that have basically been stopped as a result of the SMME programs not being rolled out properly. And those projects are costing the taxpayer a huge lot of money. Never mind the fact that knock-on on everyone involved with that project losing. So I don't believe that's something that's it's to be considered. It's an absolute must. I mean, that just the circumstances out there demonstrates that whatever we are currently doing at the moment is not enough, and we've got to up our game, bottom line.
The process and the challenge we have now is to actually close gaps created by the exclusion of most of the people in construction from supervisory and management activities when they were working for, say, established sector construction contractors. One should look at it from that basis, that it behoves of us to act in a way of bringing those guys who were excluded into the fold of understanding, so that their opportunities increase in terms of being awarded, whether it's subcontract work or it's contracts directly to themselves. Because currently they believe they are excluded from opportunities that are abound for your higher grade contractors, and hence the stop. It's one of the reasons we are told the stoppages or the stopping of projects is based on they feel excluded. But the inclusion has to have them competent, such that if they undertake those projects, there's minimal chances of them failing.
Gentlemen, this has been a great discussion on a great topic. Thank you both for your time. I look forward to seeing how this gets pushed forward and how this is driven with your assistance, with industry's assistance, and through the SACPCMP. Let's close the gaps. Let's up the game. Thank you very much for joining us. This has been Shapeshifter with Brand Live. My name is Natasha van der Berg, presented to you by the SACPCMP. Please join us again next time. Follow us on our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Thank you so much.